Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Making 3. And today, I'm gonna be giving you part 16 of What If Naruto Had the Deadliest Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Perfect Experiment and enjoy that guys. And over Enemy King, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was an Alien Hybrid, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And over Enemy King 2, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Rewrote the Past, so go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And remember for you to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Enemy King family. Yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Enemy King, Enemy King 2, and Enemy King 3, which I post notified every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Kakashi was quickly making his way. As he moved, he arrived to the scene to see the members. As they were all unconscious, luckily, they weren't killed. The medics were behind him. As he moved off, after checking their pulses to make sure that they weren't in critical danger. As he moved, he then arrived further up to see Gaara unconscious on the ground. He saw Temari and Conqueror, they were both unconscious as well. As he saw Naruto sitting there, as both him and Naruto spoke for a while, as Naruto said that he was leaving, as he told Tsunade that he could not take it anymore. But it was just a blood clone, as Naruto was already gone a long time ago. Sakura had woken up in the hospital sometime later, as she spoke to Tsunade. As Tsunade decided to take the girl under her wing, she told that she wanted to be strong enough to bring them back when the time does come. So, she agreed, as she would be stronger, as she would bring them back no matter what. As Orochimaru had already taken another body, so you'd have to wait for 3 years. So like that, 2.5 years passed. As the Akatsuki came together, they would start moving in 1 month. As Sakura had grown, everyone had grown and gotten a lot stronger. Because of Naruto beating all of them with ease, all of them realized that they need to step it up. Neji, Shikamaru, all of them. So they trained hard and strong for the past couple of years. Sakura had kept her training up with Kunai to master the genjutsu ability that she was taught in the past, and not to mention she was now a medic with Tsunade's super inhuman strength. As she has grown stronger over the years, she would find them and bring them back, and there was no question about that. As for Naruto and Sasuke, as they were currently on a mission for the Snake Sanin, as there was a man, Amaki, who had betrayed Orochimaru, and Orochimaru wanted something from him. The man was gonna fight them for it though, as they brought out a strange creature. As Naruto had killed Aizurabi, the girl that Amaki was used to protect him from these strangers. As Naruto destroyed the masked creature that Amaki had sent after them, before taking the man's head clean off. As Sasuke and him started to return back once he got the scroll. Sasuke was the one who was seeing the darkness inside Naruto. Orochimaru was pushing it. He sent Naruto out on various missions by himself to do despicable things. Orochimaru had created a pill to allow Naruto to quench his bloodlust, as it was good enough for a while, but he had to take them on a regular interval. The times were a bit separated, as Orochimaru pumped the things with his chakra to have a sway over Naruto, but unknown to him, the fox has been removing all sense of his chakra from Naruto's system to completely get rid of it, as he would have no control over Naruto. The fox and Naruto became close over the past 2.5 years, as he was helping the blonde. Not to mention Naruto was able to master some of his power, as Naruto has gotten a lot stronger. It made him thought about how frighteningly strong Natsu was all this time man was holding back against him in their fight. Not to mention he had a fling going on with KY. It wasn't that they love each other or anything like that. They just did it to blow off steam, as Naruto was planning on killing Orochimaru soon, but when his thoughts returned back to going back to Konoha, they drifted. Seeing that he has done so much things, his hand was stained in so much blood, innocence and guilty. And Orochimaru has not found a permanent cure for him, but this was able to sustain him for long enough. He knew that if he got one of them snatched, he would be able to break it down and find out what Orochimaru did, but he didn't know if he wanted to go back to Konoha anymore after the things that he has done. So yeah guys, it was basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across the player sector for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Some time had passed since Naruto encounter with Emaki. At the very moment, Sasuke was looking for the blonde. As Sasuke made his way down the halls, over the past 2.5 years, Sasuke had changed. His mindset was still focused on killing Itachi, and with Naruto here his mind was a lot clearer, as he had no intention of letting Orochimaru take over his body. But Naruto was his best friend, through and through, and he was worried about the blonde. The blonde had stopped acting like himself a long time ago, since his hair officially became white. The blonde was no longer himself at all. He couldn't tell last time he saw a smile on the blonde's face, even though there was no room for smiling or no mood for so. The blonde always found a way to goof off somehow, but now his face was just blank, like he had lost all sense of emotion. And Naruto no longer talked. He's mostly quiet, always deep in thought. He was the one that convinced Naruto to come with him, as he was now getting a bit worried what this was doing to the blonde. Orochimaru had purposely sent Naruto on several missions to try and break down the blonde's humanity. The things that he had Naruto do to prove his loyalty were gruesome. Things that Naruto would never think of doing by himself. Things that no normal ninja would ever think of doing. As Sasuke was wondering if the blonde was no longer seeing himself as a good person, judging by the way he was acting. There was no remorse when he killed people. He had long since lost that part of himself. Quick, easy death. And Sasuke finding himself feeling guilty. He blamed himself big time, as he was the one that convinced the blonde to come here with him anyway. Because he wanted his friend here with him, and now, look at what he's done to him. Turned him into a mindless, emotionless being who doesn't care about anything or anyone. Sasuke didn't really care about these things in the past, but now, here he was caring about them. And he didn't know what to do. As he made his way, it had been over a month and some days since they last went on a mission. As he hadn't seen Naruto, he was usually busy either training or doing something else, as he knew that something was going on with him and the redhead. But the blonde didn't seem to care about her one bit, and that woman just always talked a bit too loud. Sasuke didn't like her because she was annoying. Sasuke was already thinking about killing Orochimaru. He had the power to do so by now, and Orochimaru declined in health. It was soon time that he wanted to take over his body, and well, he would not allow that to happen one bit. Unknown to the crew, a fight had taken place not too long ago. Gar, the Kazekage, was kidnapped. A few days ago, he was taken by the Akatsuki. This was their first strike. Orochimaru and Kabuto had kept information away from them, as they want them to remain focused on different things. Hearing the Akatsuki was moving was not something Orochimaru wants in his plan right now, as he was ready to change body. He was getting weaker and weaker, and he believed that he had messed and changed Naruto's mind strong enough so that Naruto would not stand in his way and his goal of gaining an Uchiha's body one bit. As he had pumped his chakra into all of the pills to slowly start to mingle with Naruto's mind, he noticed Naruto was getting more and more subdued. But the problem was, Orochimaru and Kabuto was not here at the moment. They were out somewhere. Where Sasuke did not know, but he did not care, as he finally found the blonde. Sasuke came to a stop as he saw Naruto standing in the wide arena. There were several bodies around him. They were not humans, well they were once, but they were now the creatures that Orochimaru had turned these people into. As Naruto's eyes were looking up towards the woman who stood on the rail looking down towards him. "Is that all?" said Naruto. Guren smirked as she pressed the button. The cage down below opened as several more of these individuals came out. As Naruto had a blade in his hand. It was his original blade, but it was a lot different. There were symbols, markings, seals on the handle. As Naruto waited until they were close enough as Sasuke watched, the first one came at him as it swung its giant arm as Naruto ducked underneath it. He then stepped past the thing like it was nothing, and the thing split into 3 areas. He had cleaved it so fast, its movements seemed like they weren't even there. The thing dropped as the third one came as it spat a strange acidy liquid towards him. As Naruto moved out of the way as the ground started to sizzle, he raised his leg and stomped it in the thing's face, completely demolishing the face of the thing. As he started to move once again, another one with several arms jumped towards him as it released a strange web-like thing out of its mouth to try and hold him. As Naruto turned towards it, without even weaving hand signs, he spewed red flames from his mouth. His control had gotten so good that he no longer had to perform hand signs. It was because of his bloodline. As the red flames eat away at the web, and also the creature as well. 3 more moved towards him as Naruto's eyes flashed. All of them found themselves stunned, unable to move. As Naruto appeared behind all 3 of them as blood spurted everywhere, their bodies dropped. He then glanced back up. "What about you? Why don't you come and give it a go?" As much as Guren liked to show who was the strongest, she was not going to fight him, never again. The last time she did, she almost died. As she hated to admit it, but she was afraid. As she wanted to go down there and fight to prove that she was strong, but a part of her was afraid of taking him on. The thing was, when he spar or trained, he showed no mercy. The only person that he showed a shred of mercy to was Uchiha, and that was because they were friends. But for the others, even Teiwei, who he was supposedly sleeping with, he showed no mercy. He would not hesitate to go for heads or chests to kill you. If you were not on your feet, you would die against him. The last time Guren tried to fight him, as she remembered, it was bad. There was a scar across her neck. As it had healed over quite well, he had slashed her throat without even battering an eye. She almost died if it wasn't for Kabuto interfering, because she was still useful to her lord. But Orochimaru did not care that Naruto almost killed her. If anything, he was impressed, because that was some time ago. "I think I'll pass," Guren said. As Naruto turned his head as he saw Sasuke standing there. Before he could say something to Sasuke though, a Sound Ninja came rushing past Sasuke. "Konoha Ninja, they're here. Orochimaru-sama told me to inform you that we will be leaving this base." As Sasuke glanced towards the man, "You can go now," said Naruto. "But I said you can go," said Naruto. The Sound Ninja nodded before he left. As Naruto glanced up towards Guren, she glanced down towards him and saw what he would do. "Well, you heard him, Guren. You better start packing." "What about you?" she said. She knew how precious the both of them were to Orochimaru, and if she was to let something happen when she could have stopped it. "Oh, me and Sasuke will be just fine. We'll meet up with Orochimaru, and we'll get going. Why don't you go and pack? After all, it won't take too long for the Konoha ninjas to come here. And now that this base is discovered, it is no longer secured." As Guren realized he was right, as she moved off, there were things that she had to get. She was just glad that Yukimaru was not here. As Naruto turned towards Sasuke, "Who do you think it is?" "I don't know," said Sasuke, as he glanced towards a blonde, who stopped beside him. "The next base we go to, the snake died." Sasuke grabbed Naruto's hand, stopping him. "What about the pills?" "I have enough to sustain you. We're going after Itachi next, remember?" "I know," said Naruto. "Snappy can probably replicate the pills," Sasuke said. "Once you're done with this, we'll just hand them over to her. Perhaps she can even find a way to stop you from taking those pills entirely." "What do you think about that?" Sasuke asked, trying to hear an answer from the blonde. "Perhaps," said Naruto, as he removed his hand out of Sasuke's grip and walked. As Sasuke narrowed his eyes at the blonde, he shook his head as he focused on the white hair. there was still some strands of blonde in there. And you remember Naruto as blonde, so the white. He always forget about it despite it being right there. But there was still blonde in there, so he would call him the blonde. It doesn't matter. As he followed after the blonde, making his way. The group that had encountered Orochimaru and Kabuto was the Konoha group that had rescued Gaara. Lady Chiyo had given her life to bring the Kazekage back to life. After he was taken by the Akatsuki, Deidara and Sasori were taken down by a new teammate on Team 7, known as Sai. There was also Kakashi, Sakura, and also Team Guy as well. They were here for the battle. And they were here on this mission as well, along with another member on the team, Yamato, a person that can perform Mohiton like the first Hokage, but nowhere near on the same level. They had encountered Orochimaru. Orochimaru was forced to flee with all of them taking him on. He was not in a proper state to fight after all. In a week or so, he would be bedridden, and he had to exchange bodies, so he had to flee. He returned back to his base, but he got trailed. But he was not alone though. Sai had betrayed the group, and he had returned with Orochimaru, as Orochimaru was given Sai by Danzo. It was a peace offering, as Orochimaru had gotten a scroll from Danzo, as he had gave him many more root ninjas names that he would hand over to him as long as he returned back the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Konoha need his Jinchuriki. As Naruto and Sasuke came to a stop as Sai stood in front of them, he had a smile on his face. "You're Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, correct?" he said, as he looked at the both of them with a fake smile. "And who might you be?" said Naruto, not answering Sai's question. As Sai smiled, "If you would come with me, Orochimaru is right up ahead." As Naruto glanced towards the headband, "You're from Konoha." As Sai smiled, as something slithered out of his pants leg into the darkness. As Naruto enhanced hearing picked up on it. "You're betraying the village," Sasuke said. As Sai turned towards him, suddenly, the three snakes emerged from the darkness and wrapped around Sasuke tight. As he raised a single hand sign, as he saw Naruto move slightly, "I wouldn't do that if I were you. From what I've been told, he's your best friend, and you wouldn't want to see him in any harm. So, you'll be returning back to Konoha with me. If not, I'm afraid that Uchiha will have to die," he said, still with that fake smile on his face. As Naruto watched him carefully, as Sasuke didn't seem to be in any haste of moving, as he just stood there. "Now, let's get out of here before the snake Sannin arrives, shall we?" As Naruto did not move, as Sai raised his hand even more to signal that he can blow him at any moment. That was when his ink reverted back to that ink. Sai was confused as he saw there was a red snake that had somehow removed the chakra from his drawing. But when was it placed on Uchiha? The red snake reverted back to Naruto's body. As Naruto stood there, before he finally spoke, "You're one of those root agents that belong to Danzo, aren't you? It's just like the past. You're emotionless. A being that doesn't understand what anything feels. Am I right?" Sasuke glanced towards Naruto hearing that as the blonde was basically describing himself at the moment. Meanwhile, the team was currently making their way after Sai had betrayed them and made his way off. Snavy had told them to keep an eye on Sai as he was from Danzo, and he had went out and betrayed them. They arrived towards the location as they made their way inside. Yamato had used a wooden clone to get here. Sakura was quickly making her way. She was finally gonna see them again, judging from the information they got from Kabuto. As they quickly made their way through the hall, that is when they heard a massive explosion. It seems like a quarter of the base had been exploded. The group quickly made their way, as Sakura rushed towards the light. As Kakashi and others quickly made their way behind her, Neji activated his Byakugan as he saw what was up ahead. There was a body. As Tenten, Rock Lee, Guy, all of them came to a stop when they entered in the light, as Sakura looked around frantically at the massive gaping hole. When the smoke cleared, she saw Sai His neck was twisted. His left arm was missing. Half of his face was gone. He was dead. As she was surprised at the brutality that Sai was twisted into, as she felt a sensation. Sakura. As she glanced up, they all did, as Neji had saw them first. As Kakashi glanced up as well, Guy, Lee, Tintin, all of them glanced up, and they saw him. Both of them, to be exact. Sasuke wore a white t-shirt as the chest was open. Dark purple pants with an obi, like a rope wrapped around his waist. Black sandals. Naruto wore a crimson shirt, as it was like a muscle shirt, with a black cloak going down, black pants, black fingerless gloves, and black boots. As that cloak had so much storage seal on it, that the things that were sealed away was immense. The group stood there in a moment of silence. After all these years, Naruto, Sasuke, said Sakura. As Naruto looked at her, she had truly grown. I presume that he was with you before he betrayed you, said Naruto. You killed him, said Kakashi. As Yamato narrowed his eyes at the state Sai was in. That was not a normal death. He was trying to force us to do something we didn't want to do. He betrayed you. What's the point? You should stop caring about him, said Naruto. Is this an example for yourself, said Sakura? Because you left, or you saying that we should stop caring about you as well? You came all this way for us, but you should go back. We have no intentions of returning. Sasuke said nothing as he glanced towards the blonde. The way the blonde spoke, as Sasuke couldn't believe that he was the one being rational about this. As he was getting a feeling of guilt to know that he was the one that brought the blonde over to this, but yet now he was worrying about the blonde's safety. Not more so his safety, but his sanity. As Sakura noticed Naruto's hair, it was mostly white with a few blonde streaks. Naruto, we were given the order to restrain you and bring you back by the Hokage herself. Will you come with us peacefully, said Kakashi. The last time we spoke, you got my message cleared into you, and I told you where we stand. So you must understand by now what's gonna happen. Naruto-kun, said Guy. I'm afraid that we were given strict orders to bring you back, even if we have to use force. As Naruto heard something behind him as he turned, wooden vines broke from the earth and rushed towards him and Sasuke as they separated. In mid-air, Naruto caught sight of Yamato as he saw his hand locked in a ram sign. Guy and Lee both flashed above Naruto and Sasuke. Guy above Naruto, Sasuke was attacked by Lee to bring them down. As Neji moved forward to take them out that single strike as he first went after Naruto to hit him right in his stomach where his central chakra point was. But before he could, red chains erupted from Naruto as one of them grabbed Lee's leg and twisted him as he crashed into Guy. As Naruto dodged Neji's strike before gripping his wrist, as he leaned Neji over before slamming his palm right in Neji's chest, the force sent Neji sailing as he crashed in the wall. As Sakura rushed towards Naruto, her fist glowing with chakra. As Naruto stood there, she pulled back her fist as she launched it forward, but she stopped inches away from his face, her hands shaking. I don't want to hurt you, she said. You've done a lot of bad things in the past, but they can all be forgiven. Just please, come back with me, she said. There's a lot I have to tell you. A lot I didn't get to tell you. Tsunade-sama explained to me what you were struggling with, and I understand. She told me everything. There's nothing for you to be afraid about harming me. I'll be there with you every step of the way. Just please, come back. Kakashi watched Sasuke as the Uchiha was really silent He hadn't said a single word. As Kakashi noticed the look on Sasuke's face, it was almost like he was expecting to hear Naruto answer. Like he was also willing to hear what Naruto has to say. As Naruto reached up, his hand gently placed on Sakura's face. Sakura felt a shiver run through her body as his hand touched her. At first, she didn't want to admit it because she thought that she was just thinking of him as a friend, but as the time passed, she realized that she didn't think of him as a friend anymore. She stopped thinking of him as a friend a long time ago. She wanted to confess to him. In the past, she had liked Sasuke. It was just a young crush, but now, as she grew, she realized that she had deeper feelings for Naruto. He became her best friend. Then, she didn't know when it changed, but it just changed. She wanted to tell him back then, but he had knocked her out. And now with his hand in her face, she felt like she wanted to lean into the touch. Just melt away from this place, with him. As Naruto moved closer to her, she heard someone shout her name, confused why they were calling out her name. As she felt something sink into her neck, she winced in pain, as she felt herself getting tired and tired, as he bit into her neck. He was stopped, as Guy intervened, cracking the ground where Naruto stood, as he caught Sakura, who dropped in his arms. As she felt exhausted, really exhausted, as she lay there in Guy's arms. Kakashi saw the movement on Sasuke's face. It was brief, but it seems like he was a bit worried for the blonde who stood there. As Kakashi was surprised that Naruto would do that. Have you really fallen that far to harm Sakura, said Kakashi. You have no idea what I'm capable of now. It's best if you go home. If not, a feeling of dread settled all over them. Not just that, they felt their very souls, their very beings crumbling under his might. It felt like death itself was going to consume their soul. As it felt like a monster. Something that was not allowed in this world had just been awoken all of a sudden. And all of this was coming from Naruto. So much dark, twisted power. As his red eyes shined down at them. As Sakura forced to keep her eyes open, but she was too weak. As he had taken so much of her blood so quickly. But yet he stopped. As she fell asleep in Guy's arms. Even Guy, the energetic beast of Konoha, was feeling the strain of Naruto. Killer intent. Go back to the village. Tell Tsunade that things have changed, Kakashi. Tell her to stop sending ninjas after us. Because the next time she do, it will be worse than this. As Naruto started to go through hand sign, all for his hand to be stopped. As Naruto glanced beside him to see Orochimaru. I'm afraid that we're gonna have to allow them to live. They've done us a great service so far by killing 2 of the Akatsuki members. If they keep on doing this, you won't have to worry about them coming after you. A massive crystal structure emerged, trapping the group inside. As Gorin landed beside them, we can go now. As Guy Fist connected with it and Lee, as the thing started to creak. They're strong. Let us go, Orochimaru said, as he looked towards the group amusingly. Kakashi's visible eye watched Naruto, as he couldn't see anything from his old student. His eyes were just hollow, empty. And just like that, they were gone. Time skip. The group had returned back to Konoha. Sakura was in hospital. She had lost quite a bit of blood. As Kakashi was in the office, left with Tsunade. As Kakashi was in there, Jiraiya was also here as well, as he returned back to the village. Tsunade sat down, her face masking all of her emotions, as her eyes were just focused on what Kakashi was saying. As she was worried. From what Kakashi told her, Naruto seemed to have changed more than they all expected. What about Sasuke? Said Jiraiya, as he was worried about the blonde and the state that he was in right now. As they did not know which one of them killed Sai, but they believed that it was Naruto after what he did to Sakura. He did not even hesitate. If he was not stopped, would he kill her? Snatty was hoping that, somehow, some way, that Naruto would realize that in the past that he felt something for the girl. Perhaps he didn't anymore. She believed that Sakura could be the one to help him return back to his senses and come back. Because if he came back, there was no question that he could bring Sasuke back with him as well. But if Naruto was truly lost, that's the thing, said Kakashi. Sasuke was silent through the whole thing. He did not speak a single word. And he was watching Naruto, like he was waiting for his reaction. And when Naruto started to feed on Sakura, he almost seemed what? Said Snatty as Kakashi paused. Worried. What do you mean worried? The look on his face, it was like he was concerned. I don't know if it was for Sakura or for Naruto, but he was definitely concerned. This was new. So Sasuke was worried about the blonde if that was the case. Sasuke knew something that they need to know, as she wondered if the blonde had truly gone over the edge. If he had truly gone over the point of no return, or if there was still a chance of bringing him back. She did not know. But they had to find out, they had to find him. Time skip. Orochimaru was not in a good state, as Kabuto was currently making his way down the hall to get his master some pills. It was time for them to begin the process. Orochimaru would not last longer. His illness was getting worse, and he needed to take Sasuke's body now. But their big problem here was Naruto. As the time grew closer, Orochimaru had recalled his own fort just in case. If they had to subdue Naruto for long enough, even Kimimaro was here, as he did not die. Searching for a cure for Naruto, Orochimaru dived in a way to find something for Kimimaro as well. And he indeed found something. It was his own bones that were killing him. As he kept on pulling bones from his body, it brought him an illness. That his body was slowly losing up his white blood cells. It was just to find a way of regulating that. It wasn't too hard. Kimimaro was still here and alive, and Orochimaru had brought all of them here, even Goren. With the time drawing so close, he needed his trusted people to be here with him. After all, if Naruto was not fully on his side, he's gonna have to use them as pawns. But he doubted that any of them could actually hold Naruto back long enough. But it would be long enough for him to take Sasuke's body and fully take over. As Kabuto heard something, as he turned to see Naruto standing there. Ah, Naruto-kun, what can I help you with? Kabuto dodged as a spear ripped through the wall, destroying it. As Kabuto got up, his hands enlightened with chakra as his scalpels came to life. As Naruto was upon him in a second with his blade, Kabuto clashed with it. As Naruto brought down weight, being a bit taller than him, the ground cracked under Kabuto's feet as his knees started to buckle. As he started to go down, his knees actually touching the ground. They were creating a lot of ruckus, so soon enough someone would be here. But to Kabuto's surprise, no one was coming, as Naruto kicked him right in the throat. As he gurgled, he crashed into the wall. That was when he noticed a seal that the clone had placed up, a clone of Naruto standing there. He regained his bearings as he rubbed his throat. "What are you doing?" he said, as he looked towards Naruto in anger. "What are you doing?" he said. "Isn't it obvious? It's time for you and Orochimaru to die." "I knew it," said Kabuto. "You were never fully on our side, weren't you?" "Never have, and never will. But you have given me what I needed. I know it's time that you die." "You fool. What do you think's gonna happen afterwards? How will you get your precious pills? What will stop you from ripping out Uchiha's throat and anyone else around you? What will make you ever have peace?" As Naruto started to laugh. "You fools. You realize that you've given me all that I wanted all along. What are you talking about? Orochimaru knows how to create the pills. There are people that can enter the mind of even the dead. I will get what I want." As Kabuto snarled, "I won't allow you to kill Lord Orochimaru. You think you can stop me? You pathetic lackey. We fought several times in the past before. This time, as Naruto appeared in front of him, Kabuto ducked. Naruto's hand broke the wall. As he tear the chunk of earth and dropped it to the ground, Kabuto jumped away as he threw a scalpel right towards Naruto as Naruto caught it. He crushed it with his hand as Kabuto threw one of the trays towards him as he moved towards the door. Before he could get there was a chain wrapped around his waist. His eyes widened as he was yanked back as Naruto clamped a hand around his mouth. "Shh," he said, as more chains left his body and ripped straight Kabuto, forcing him on the ground. As Kabuto tried to move and shout, as Naruto pried his mouth open and grabbed his tongue, Kabuto's eyes went wide as Naruto ripped it off. He cried in pain, but his sounds were muffled as he gargled on his own blood. "You're too loud," said Naruto as he slapped his head to the side. "Be quiet. I will need your head for this process. You were there for him, helping him create the drug. That is why I need your head." As the blade appeared in Naruto's hand in a poof from his seal, slice! As Kabuto's head was decapitated, he died. As Naruto took the head and sealed away in a scroll as he grabbed the tray that was left over to the side with medicine on it. Afterwards, the door was opened by his clone, leaving the seal intact and the body inside. As Naruto slowly moved down the hall, he knocked on the door. "Kabuto, what took you so long?" the voice of Orochimaru said. As Naruto entered, Orochimaru raised an eyebrow. "Naruto-kun," he said. "What are you doing here? With the pills nonetheless. Where is Kabuto?" As the blank stare and the silence got Orochimaru angry. "What have you done?" he said. As footsteps could be heard, as Sasuke opened the door. As Naruto tossed the tray, Orochimaru ducked as it split into the wall with the force that he tossed it with. "It's time. You knew that this was coming. Why are you so surprised?" As Orochimaru pressed the button, as there was this tiny button beside him on the table as he pressed it, as alarms started to blare through the entire base, as Naruto heard and sensed many people coming. "You go. I'll kill this snake," Sasuke said. As Naruto glanced towards Orochimaru, before walking out. "You think you can kill me?" Orochimaru said. But Naruto did not listen as he walked out. The moment he got outside and closed the door behind him, he saw several individuals. Kimimaro was standing there. The Stone 4 was standing there, and behind him there was several dozen Stone ninjas. "Naruto, why was the alarm raised? What is going on?" said Kimimaro as his eyes were focused on Naruto intensely. Immediately a bone sword was in his hand. "What the hell is going on?" "Hey shithead, why are you just standing there?" It was then that they heard chaos inside. Kimimaro stepped forward. "Sorry, I can't allow you to pass." "And why not?" "Sasuke is busy killing Orochimaru." "I knew it," said Teiwaya. "I knew you were never loyal to him. So you're finally making your move." "Yes," said Naruto. "You know, if you want you can run. You helped me many times blow off steam. So I'll give you the chance to flee." "You know I can't do that," she said to him. "I can't allow you to kill Lord Orochimaru." "Yes, I know. I was just merely giving you a chance to flee." "You think we're gonna stand here and allow you to kill Lord Orochimaru?" said Kidomaru. As Naruto turned away from him, he looked towards the other Stone ninjas. "Run or die. Pick one." As they all steeled themselves, seeing Kimimaro standing there, Kimimaro threw his bone straight towards Naruto as it came right towards his eye. As things seemed to slow down as Naruto tilted his head far faster than the projectile. As he gripped it and turned and threw it back, Kimimaro tilted his head as one of the Stone ninjas behind him got pierced right through the skull. As Naruto moved, bones extended from Kimimaro. As Naruto's hand formed a massive Rasengan that seemed to envelop the entire hallway as he slammed it in the wall. The explosion was massive, tearing out a huge chunk of the wall. As Naruto flashed through several handstands before slamming his hand down, a massive earth pillar rose, all of them up to the surface. as they were brought into the light. The moment that happened, a bloodthirsty grin came on Naruto's face as his hand dropped to his sides before his body swayed as he vanished. It was a massacre, a slaughter, all the sound ninjas within seconds. Kimimaro did not waste any time as he quickly entered stage 2 of his curse mark, knowing at the level that he was at he would be no match for Naruto. As the both of them slammed into each other with impressive force as Naruto's blade clashed against the bones. Naruto infused his blade with wind chakra as he started to slice into it, but Kimimaro sent bones everywhere as one of them stabbed into Naruto's stomach as he jumped away. He gripped it in his palm as his blood came out and swallowed the bone inside his body, giving him a partial use of it, as red bones extended all over him as he fired them out in all directions, killing all the remaining sound ninjas. The sound 4 flashed around him as they trapped him in a barrier. "Dumbass, give up. Orochimaru-sama might forgive you for this, but only if you give up now," said Teiwaya. "He won't. I always hated this asshole, thinking that you can order us around. Well, now it's time that you die," said Kidomaru. "I thought you were truly on our side," said Jirobo, "but I'm afraid we'll have to kill you in the name of Lord Orochimaru." "Kimimaro, it's up to you. We'll keep him trapped inside there with you." Kimimaro turned his sights towards Naruto as his tail behind him ruffled as it shot forward, the bones coming towards Naruto. As Naruto stood there, he was not going to waste time with these fools, as he could already sense Gorin. She was a distance away, but she would be there rather quickly. She was going straight for Orochimaru. Interrupting the fight might get Sasuke killed. As the barrier shook as Naruto released an unimaginable amount of power, as the bloodlust from him quaked the entire area. He moved as he appeared behind Kimimaro. Kimimaro turned as he extended his bone sword, but Naruto grabbed it. Kimimaro extended another bone as he drive it forward. It stabbed right in Naruto's chest, but Naruto did not care as he grabbed him by the head. Kimimaro projected 3 other bones as they stabbed into Naruto, but yet he was unbothered. Kimimaro started to cry as Naruto started to squeeze his head. The Sound were watching in shock as Naruto's body was pelting with bones, but yet he still held on as he squeezed until squash! Pop! His head exploded like a watermelon, blood and gore and brain matter flying everywhere. As Naruto stood there, his blood forcefully pushing out all of the bones out of his body as it healed. He looked around the barrier around him before he held his hand up to the heavens as a red Rasengan formed. It started to grow larger and larger and larger and larger until the ground under Naruto shattered as the Rasengan was too large. Even he seemed to struggle with it. The Sound 4 eyes went wide. "Move!" As Seikon said that they all move as the Rasengan hit. The explosion was devastating. Gorin had to come to a stop as several massive debris fell down blocking her path. As Jirobo looked around, as he quickly entered stage 2 curse mark. "Where are you, Naruto?" he said as he looked around, only for him to feel a bone-crushing punch in his stomach as he keeled over. As he came face to face with those eyes, a look of dread and fright came over his face as Naruto reached and removed his eyes out of his socket. He screamed out in pain. The next thing he knew, his left arm was gone, as Naruto bit down on his neck and pulled him to the ground, snapping his neck in the process. As Naruto wiped his mouth before he vanished, several arrows stabbed into the ground where he once was. As Kidomaru looked around before he felt something behind him as he turned, his left 2 arms were grabbed as Naruto stomped in his face, slamming his head on the branch that he was on and tearing his 2 arms off. Kidomaru screamed before Naruto stuffed his hand into his mouth as Naruto's hand started to pulse with electricity as he incinerated him from the inside out, as his body dropped as it was roasted. As Naruto moved as the tree was destroyed, as he saw Seikon, but Ukon was not there. As Naruto felt something as he looked down. Stupid of you to try and enter my body. You fool. Know that I've... Ukon paused. His face started to swell. "What are you doing?" said Seikon, as red bumps appeared in his face before. Boom! as he exploded, as his corpse left Naruto's body. "Do you really think that he can handle my blood?" said Naruto. Seikon stepped back only for him to hear a growl. As he turned, a massive serpent was behind him, made entirely from Naruto's blood. He moved, but the thing attacked as it ripped into him. It tore him into half as it spun him around and started to tear his body apart. Its fangs were like iron despite its body being made from blood. As Teiwai was on her feet, her flute was in her hand. "Why not play your music?" said Naruto. "What will be the point?" she said. "I'm not strong enough to face you, but I cannot allow you to kill my master." As Naruto looked towards a mark on her neck, before he looked at her, "The sex was good," he said. "It was, wasn't it?" she said. As Naruto nodded, as he stepped by her, as he sheathed his blade and resealed it back in his wrists, her head dropped off her shoulders. As Naruto blurred out of sight, he reappeared in front of Gurren. "Shit," she said, as she looked at the blonde standing there. "What are you doing here?" She already knew that he was a cause, but she looked around, as she couldn't fight in this close area. "Go," said Naruto. "Yukimaru needs you." What? "I know that you still feel loyalty to the Orochimaru, but you love that child. I saw it many times before. And if you stand here and fight me, I will find Yukimaru, and I will detach his arms and legs and make you watch. I'll give you 5 seconds to move, or I will forcefully let you watch as I kill Yukimaru." 5, 4. Gurren ran off. As it was true, she might have been loyal at the moment, but as she was realizing over the past, even when Naruto almost killed her, Orochimaru did not care. But she had to protect Yukimaru with everything that she got, and she knew where he was. And if she took him right now, she could leave and never be found once again, and start a new life. She didn't know if Naruto and Sasuke would kill Orochimaru, but she would go in hiding. After a while, Sasuke stepped out of the room, his eyes closed. As Naruto waited there, what happened? Sasuke's Sharingan opened up, as Naruto found himself in a whirl. As he witnessed everything, Orochimaru tried to take over Sasuke's body, but Sasuke reversed it, and instead he absorbed Orochimaru. Sasuke looked around at the carnage. "I thought you would keep that one alive," as he glanced over towards Teiwai. She was too far gone. His influence with that mark has corrupted her mind too much. It's a good thing that you don't rely on it so much. Otherwise, you'd be loyal to that asshole. But know that he's dead, I can remove it. Know that I have him. I have access to his memories. The things that he did while making this pill. We will need a medic, but not just any. It's a complicated thing to do. I have Kabuta's head as well, said Naruto. And he must have been there. So we have a way to create more pills. But I believe that Snaddy is the only one that can do this. As Naruto started to walk, "Wait," said Sasuke. "What now?" "You almost killed Sakura." As Naruto glanced towards him, "I had to make them realize that they need to go back home and stop coming after us. If they keep on getting our way, they're likely gonna get hurt because we're gonna go up against some people who wants to take me. And then getting away and using them as leverage is not something that I care for. You're one of my closest friends. But even I could see that you care for her more than you let on. But now, she almost died. Do you not care anymore?" Sasuke asked. "Why do you care?" said Naruto. "We're gonna go after Itachi and Ikasuke. So let's get moving. Stop thinking about the past." "So you're not gonna go back to the Leaf once this is over?" "It's been a while since I heard you talk about that. Or anything regarding the Leaf technically. Or anyone there. You're always the one speaking nonsense and telling me to stay focused, that we cannot fall for Orochimaru games. But now, I'm the one saying it. Does not show you that something is definitely wrong here. The only thing that is wrong is that you're getting too soft. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Me? Getting soft? You know I would do anything to kill Itachi. But something is wrong with you. And even I can see that. The more deeper you go, the more you're losing yourself. It seems that the roles have reversed, said Naruto, as he looked towards Sasuke. Despite his nonchalant speaking, there was no smile on his face. As he looked towards Sasuke, let's kill Itachi and Akatsuki first. Then we can talk about the future. As he turned and started to walk away, as he was not going to answer any more questions, Sasuke did not understand when he became the one that was asking these soft questions. He was worried, and not to mention he felt guilty as hell because he was the one that forced Naruto down this path. Things that the blonde shouldn't have done. Things that no normal ninja should have done. And he seemed to have permanently changed him. Meanwhile at Konoha, as Sakura was standing by herself, as she reached up towards her neck, she hadn't told anyone but she felt it. He was feeding on her, but he stopped. He stopped for the briefest moments. If he had continued, if he had held on to her and jumped away, he could have killed her, but he stopped. There was still hope. And she was not gonna let go of that. She will find him and return him back home, no matter what. But guys, we'll be end episode right here. If you want to see the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share some of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Perfect Experiment, and enjoy that guys. And also over on Anime King, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was an Alien Hybrid, so go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And also I post a brand new episode over Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Rewrote the Past, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. Remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.